I'm White House Correspondent Dr. Matthew Anthony Harper, here to address Tucker Carlson and his recent interview with U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee. I have serious concerns about Tucker Carlson, his objectivity, his anti-Israel views, setting the stage in the interview to set actually traps for U.S. Ambassador Mike Huckabee to fall into, and taking advantage of Ambassador Huckabee on several levels. But one key issue that Tucker Carlson ran away with was the comment that the U.S. ambassador had brought up about Israel's covenant with God's covenant with Abraham that would include a large area of the Middle East. This is a scripture in Genesis and Deuteronomy that addresses this, and there'll be links to those references to about the promises of God's covenant with Abraham of a much larger area for Israel. Ambassador Huckabee made it very clear that Israel had no intentions to taking all this land. This actually land that is a prophecy of the future during the time of the Jewish Messiah when his return, when he sets up his kingdom. In Zechariah chapter 14, it describes Jesus' return to the Mount of Olives. That is an idea that many evangelical Christians share. Actually, many Jewish people believe that the Jewish Messiah will return to the Mount of Olives, as described in Zechariah 14 as well, to set up his kingdom. But during that, I would say the true golden age is when the fulfillment of all the land increase for Israel. But Saudi Arabia now is, along with other Arab nations, are furious with U.S. Ambassador Mike Huckabee's comments about this land being promised to Israel that would take in parts of Saudi Arabia, all of Jordan and Lebanon, parts of Syria, parts of Egypt, parts of Iraq, all the way over to the Euphrates River, or all the way to the Mediterranean Sea. Tucker Carlson has shown anti-Israel sentiment for quite some time now. Another person that has been that way as far as a podcaster is Candace Owens. So I challenged Tucker Carlson to a debate, to challenge him on these issues. For Tucker Carlson really is also supporting this idea of church replacement theology, and that is the view that the Christian church replaces Israel, and nowhere in the Holy Bible does it say that the church replaces Israel. It talks about the Christian church being grafted in. There's some references that I will have in the description box about describing church replacement theology. But I see this as a form of anti-Semitism to disrespect God's covenant with Israel. And it's clear in Scripture of God's promise, fulfillment for Israel. The Jewish Messiah returns in Zechariah 14 to reclaim the land, to set up his kingdom. And he comes to Jerusalem on the Mount of Olives and splits the mountain in two. So once again, I challenge Tucker Carlson on his views on Israel. He displays ignorance, no clear biblical understanding of the Middle East. He doesn't understand God's covenant with Abram and Isaac and Jacob. And by the way, Jacob becomes Israel. Jacob is renamed Israel. There's a lot to this issue. There'll be very important information in the description box of this video to learn more about, as I said, the church replacement theology, the problems with that, serious problems. for many are falling, even within the Christian church, for this deception. And sad to say, Tucker Carlson has bought into this, and so many others. Another comment, observation that I've seen in that interview that Tucker Carlson had with U.S. Ambassador Mike Huckabee is this total disrespect for the ambassador, Mike Huckabee, who is way more experienced in Middle East issues than Tucker Carlson is. Tucker Carlson claims not to have that much biblical knowledge, that experience, a fairly new Christian, whereas Ambassador Huckabee has been a Christian for many years, a Southern Baptist minister, more experienced, more knowledgeable about the Middle East. Sad to say that Tucker Carlson would show disrespect for Ambassador Huckabee the way he did. And I'm awaiting for the White House, for President Trump to respond to the disrespect that he showed towards Ambassador Huckabee and so many other forms of disrespect that was displayed throughout that interview with Ambassador Huckabee, which ended up being about 2.5 hours. Now, this interview happened when Tucker Carlson in a private plane entered Tel Aviv, arrived at the Tel Aviv airport, Ben Gurion Airport, and was at the VIP lounge. But in news reports that day, it ended up and proven that he lied about what happened there. He had lied and said that Israel government was interrogating him, mistreating him, and that didn't happen whatsoever. The U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem has denied any of that happening. Several news sources discounted Tucker Carlson's rendition, his account that he was very descriptive against Israel on that day. So there'll be, as I mentioned, there's a lot of information in our description box of our video